My favorite part about the holidays is probably all the side stuff, right? Like, yes, it's fun to do gifts, and yes, it's fun to eat dinners with people, and yes, it's fun to ho, 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 but I really like that my brothers have off school and we can play a bunch of board games. I really like the Christmas cookies that my grandma makes. And I really like rushing around and staying warm as I continue to make videos for all of you. Good morning, Mario. The tea is so hot I forgot. I don't usually let it whistle, but today it was whistling at me because we do have a lot to talk about. So good morning, Switch fans. Hope you're all doing fantastic and hope the bustle and hustle is not getting you down. Remember, if you need to just take a break, naps are healing. I never liked naps as a kid. Hated them. I was one of those kids that didn't sleep through the night till I was 5 years old. A true terror for my parents, but now I love taking little rests. They're powerful and beneficial, as long as you don't do it between the hours of 4 and 6 when it converts from light to dark and then you wake up and feel like you're in a creepy Twilight Zone and the rest of your day is ruined. Anyhow, let's kick it off with our trip to the House of Indies. Once again, Nintendo stealth dropped 2 games and announced 2 more. I love this promo, one of the best they've ever done. It's like a tiny micro direct every day. Not really a mini, but it's a micro. And today they announced 2 games that both look interesting. We have the wonderful, the only, the Gecko Gods, which at first I was like, what is happening here? There's this boat just driving by itself. Aha, no. It's a gecko. It's a tiny, chill puzzle platformer releasing in 2023. It actually looks pretty nice. The other game is Risk of Rain Returns, which is going to be a revamping of the original Risk of Rain. This is interesting because there's already Risk of Rain 2, but now we're going back and getting Risk of Rain Returns, even though Risk of Rain is already on Switch. So they didn't show any gameplay, but it's going to have new graphics and apparently new modes, which sounds pretty good. Today's games, though, are The Captain is a retro adventure game. It doesn't look like it's my cup of tea, but if it's yours, it's $19.99 and out right now. And then The Punchuin is a penguin who punches. Now, this is a special title because it's by Shinen, all right? The last game they released was The Tourist on Nintendo Switch, and if you remember, that was a voxel. I never remember what they're called. I know there's pixels and voxels, but it's one of those games with like the QB art style, and it was a big open world exploring and doing a whole bunch of different things. It actually was kind of an under-the-radar gem, and people really enjoyed the game. Now, this is totally different. This is a side-scrolling title, arcadey, old school, about a penguin who can punch. You gotta upgrade that penguin's punch. There's also a versus multiplayer mode, and it just looks like good fun. And at $14.99, I'm willing to take a flyer. The mechanics and animations do look a little off, but Shinen is a good developer, so I'm going to buy it and play it and report back. Nonetheless, I love that we are 2 days in and we've got 8 games, 4 dropped and 4 announced. It's pretty sick that every day we get this. I just, like, this is a bravo moment. Nintendo closing out 2022 with a bam, wham, thank you, Nintendo fam. I do want to make an update, though, because Hollow Knight and Sports Story would be like the holy grail of this House of Indies. This is what would be in the basement, and you're like, oh my god, beneath the basement, there's $1 million! No, it's actually Hollow Knight. Now, Hollow Knight might be unlikely for this, because 2 different things happened that are kind of in opposite directions. I still fully believe Sports Story drops this week. I am geared up to play it. I'm ready to go RPG sporting it up. But on one hand, Xbox Argentina posted on Instagram that since there's still a while to wait for Hollow Knight Silksong, why don't you play Hollow Knight on Game Pass? So that sounds like Hollow Knight might actually be in the distance, not near. Yet Nate Drake, the leaker who runs the podcast with MBG and we talk about all the time and has actually gone kind of quiet since that September Direct along with many other Nintendo leakers, he had this to say, verbatim, it's soon, not the Microsoft 12-month thing, it's soon. Now, he's talking about Hollow Knight and how Microsoft said that all games shown at this year's E3 presentation would be out in the next 12 months. That would give them until June to launch Hollow Knight Silksong on Game Pass and, of course, Switch. But he says it's not that thing. He says it's soon, soon. Now, I don't know what soon means to you, but usually when Nate Drake heard about a Direct or something coming soon, it was within a couple weeks or a month. So this tells me that Hollow Knight Silksong is either, in fact, a part of this indie house debacle, or it's coming out in January. Now, January would be a sneaky slot to get in before a lot of the major AAA releases tend to drop. And January is still a month that has a game like Fire Emblem Engage, but you're out of the way of titles like Resident Evil 4 and Jedi Fallen Survivor and probably Redfall as well. January would be an awesome treat after the holiday lull to get us back into gaming and get the Switch geared up for a fiery adventure with Hornet. But I still think there's a chance that somehow it comes out this week. I mean, we've all kind of convinced ourselves that this is a AAA game at this point. It's going to be announced in a massive fashion, in a major show with a major moment. But maybe it's not. It's still just as an indie. Team Cherry is still very small. I don't know what their finances are like, but maybe they don't have the capacity or the need or the desire to announce it at the Game Awards where it didn't happen, or at a Nintendo Direct where it may or may not happen. And if Nate Drake is saying soon, I don't think that means like Q1. I don't think that means February or March. That's still multiple months away. I think he means either now or January. That's what it sounds like to me. And perhaps we will get a mix. Perhaps we'll get a release date announcement during one of these House of Indies days, and it'll be out early 2023. I'm not 100% sure, but I love the anticipation. The hype game is real, and if you're playing, it's a dice roll, but hey, better to be in the game than on the sideline. Now, on the sideline, I may be with the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. Those were officially announced, but with a whole lot of crap. Okay, this is just, again, an example of like, how do you goof this up? The people that make these decisions should play games, or at least know games well, or at least talk to people who play games and know games well, because again, they did something dumb. Now, the first dumb thing is that they released the collector's edition at like 1 a.m. Eastern, and they sold out. And they're being sold through Square's website, so it doesn't look like there'll be any more, and they'll probably go on eBay for extremely aggressive amounts, and they probably got sold to people who happened to be lucky enough and saw that this would be a collector's item. So they goofed on the pre-orders. These games have been out for many moons on other platforms. They could have announced this ahead of time. Instead, they're just like, stealth drop, pre-orders, 1 a.m., no one's awake. Oops, it's going to be people that don't actually want the game. Boo. But the even bigger boo to me is that it's $75 for the package. It's $75 for the bundle on Switch. They're coming out in spring 2023, and it's $75. Now, $70 is the newly introduced price for next-gen games. Nintendo Switch does not yet have a $70 game, so this is even more egregious. $75 for your 6 Final Fantasies. And now I know that's a lot of content. In terms of game length, that's a lot of games. But do remember that other collections are far cheaper. Okay, we have stuff like the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. That's like 30 or 40 bucks. We have the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. That's 30 or 40 bucks, and a lot of times on sale for 20. The Mega Man Legacy Collections are often on sale for $10. Now, I know those sales are great, but even at their original MSRP, in the $30 to $40 range, we're talking about over double for the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. Again, they're long games, but they are also old. And if you look at stuff like the Capcom Anniversary Collection, okay, where you could buy the games in packs of 10, you got 30 games for $40. 30! This is 6. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary was 12 Street Fighter games. It's currently $20 on Amazon. And eventually the Pixel Remasters will go on sale as well. And I highly suggest you wait for it. $75 is absurd. The Borderlands Legendary Collection is a $50 or $60 package, and that's 3 much more modern games that run really nicely on the Switch and bring a ton of content as well. And you can get those often on a deep discount for like 15 or 20 bucks. There are so many collections like BioShock, the multiple Mega Mans, Atari, etc. that are all engaging and exciting, and none of them cost $75. None of them are this late and this poorly handled and this expensive. You can buy the games individually for $15.99, which still feels aggressive because these games, if they were on Virtual Console, would be $5 to $10. I just don't like it. I don't like that games of this ilk from this long ago are not part of a free service, and I get that they're Pixel Remasters, so they have been touched up, so that maybe ups the price a bit. But if you're going to bundle 6 together, at least do us the service of making it $60. The full price of a retail game elsewhere. Don't say, oh no, it's $75. That's extremely expensive. It's extremely unfriendly, and it's extremely obnoxious after you drop the collector's edition on your website store at 1 a.m. It's like they just don't get it, or they just don't care. I don't know which is worse, but I continue to be absolutely flummoxed. My brain burst by the idea that these companies making millions and sometimes billions of dollars can't make simple decisions correctly. They can't execute simple plans in a way that's good for everyone. They can't be consumer-centric, fan-focused, and just deliver. It's hard to make the game. It shouldn't be hard to release the game, price the game. Like, that's the part you gotta nail. It's hard to develop. It's hard to squash bugs. It's hard to hit a release schedule. It's not hard to release your pre-order at the right time of day. It just blows my mind because I feel like if I was in charge, it would happen nice and normally and naturally. And as you'd expect, it doesn't take more work to launch something at noon than 1 a.m. It doesn't take more work to tweet out, these will be available tomorrow. Get ready, Final Fantasy fans. Like, yay that they're on Switch, but this is completely bungled. And I really do not like the expensive price. It's not precedent setting because everybody else, like Capcom, is going to just continue to price theirs in a nice way. But again, I'll let you know that Nintendo themselves did not charge this much for their Mario 3D All-Stars collection. And you know Nintendo, they view their IP like them babies. Golden babies made out of liquid titanium diamond. And they didn't charge this much. 6 games, you say, though. Come on. Mario Galaxy, Mario 64, and Mario Sunshine are worth far more than 6 old Final Fantasies. Don't even argue that one. You know it's true. And you know we'll be back for more soon. It's almost the holiday. Well, it is the holiday season. Again, happy Hanukkah to those celebrating. Get excited for Christmas, Kwanzaa, anything else you're celebrating. I'm here for. I love you. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Hit that like button if you enjoy the show. And until next time, my friends, secret note at the end of the video. My internet has been down since 4 p.m. yesterday. Cross your fingers that the tech is able to fix it. I think the modem is broken, but I found a mysterious hotspot in my neighborhood, and I'm using it. Ha ha ha. All right. Thanks again. SwitchForce.